What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning on the left side of the map in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Ra. His name is Nullus. This is almost the opposite gods. I mean, Nullus isn't really known to be an Odin player, but he does play Odin, and obviously Kimo is known to play Ra. But in this game, he's been given Odin. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. And as I was kind of spoiled before this series, I'm going to admit I was told that we were going to be seeing a lot of water maps in this series. And are you serious? And it's a 2-fish water map as well? That's insane. That's insane. How is this a 2-fish? How we've seen 3... Not only have we seen 3 water maps, but we've seen 3 2-fish water maps at 20% of 20%. Someone do the math on me. 3 games in a row. There was a veto. I will go ahead and say at least there was 1 veto. There might have even been 2 vetoes on these water maps. And this is an 8-fish spawn, ladies and gentlemen. An 8-fish spawn. Is Nullus going to be ready for an 8-fish spawn? I don't think so. He hasn't scouted at all with these fishing ships. It's an 0.04 chance for this sort of map to spawn. And then you have to do that 3 times over. So it's 0.00004 odds or something, maybe even less. I don't know if I did that math correctly there. I'm just making guesses. That was a big guess with how math works. I don't actually know. But another fishing ship coming out. Kimo's smartly scouting here with that fishing ship. This is what Divine Intervention, Competitive Mega Random is all about. Nullus scouting now himself. Will he get to that fishing spot in time? The fishing ship coming out, and he gets it before Nullus can. Nullus is going to get another fishing ship. He's got to cancel that one. Cancel the fishing ship. Cancel the fishing ship. No, he gets it out. Okay, now you have to take all the villagers off of wood. You just have to take all the villagers off of wood right now. What do you do? What do you do if you Nullus? Now he works it out. He's got himself, or he could have gone for pickaxe here. Throwing a house up. He's going on to the food. He's missing 1 fishing spot, so he's going to be building himself another dock over here. As he's only got 2 cows as well. This is a nightmare for Nullus. How's it going for Kimo, though, in the map? Holy cow. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I just couldn't. Holy cattle. Oh dear. Oh dear. So, like I've said this before. Okay, 4 fishing spots spawn, possible to get yourself 402 advance time, right? That's a good advance time. That's like the meta advance time for a 4 fishing ship open up for the Nullus civilizations, right? That's the meta advance time. But you don't know what's happening, so you have to adapt to it. So it's probably more expecting to see like a 430 here off of 4 fishing ships. But the problem for Nullus is he doesn't have the food. He's had to build a granary over here. Life getting really, really tough. Kimo, on the other hand, he also didn't really know. So he's not building a second dock. He's taking he's still getting wood income. He didn't finish off the walrus here. Getting the temple down. He's going a little bit later as well. Both players taking a very, very long time to get up to the next age. The next question is, what sort of a build do you actually go for? What sort of a strategy do you actually end up going for here? Do you go for a water fight with only having 2, 4, 6, 8 fishing ships able to get grabbed in this game? Obviously, it's a decent amount. It's better than nothing, but wait, can you get that spot? Oh, it's taken. Never mind. I don't know. But their question was, see what's going to happen. We do see a decent amount of villagers on wood over here. Decent amount of villagers on gold here. If I had to take a guess at who is favored in this water fight, I would probably take a stab at the Norse. Funnily enough, like normally I would say most of the time Egyptian is favored on water maps. But in this specific type of water map, I don't know. I feel like Norse is going to have the economic edge here early, having the stronger villages overall, having the more gold income from the dwarves. Having the longboats popping out being able to defend underneath these docks nice and easily, not really needing to push out too much. Once the numbers come in, he's going to have the advantage there. But also, do you even need to fight the water? Can you not just go for a town center here? If I saw this and I was playing as Nullus, I would just go. I would 100% just be thinking about going for the going for a town center here and just like saying, screw it, no water. I'm going to go for a town center. I'm going to go for a fast rock. I'm going to go for a fast farm. We'll see how things are going to go as the cabinets now popping out here for Nullus, going after these fishing ships. The dock coming up over here as well. Longboats coming out as best as they can for Kimo as the Skraeling over here going to get taken out. Units retreating back. Oops, shifting sands coming through there by Nullus as well. No box here for Nullus. He has brought his Pharaoh into the mix. One Herso goes down. Will the other Herso go down is the big question. Answer is no. Going to get away with 42 HP, excuse me, as the fishing ships have been pushed back. Gives Nullus the extra fishing spot. He's now 5 fish to 0 for a time being as the Valkyrie coming in. Villager's going to drop through that tower there. Got to bring that priest into the action here. The Valkyrie will win this fight. Nullus not paying attention here. Actually, will it? It's kind of close. I mean, the Wadjet... 10 HP Wadjet. The Wadjet's regeneration there may have saved its life. The unique ability of the Wadjet is regeneration. It gets, what is that? 1 HP a second. Little known facts. As more longboats coming out. And Kimo, I don't know how well he knows this, but with the bonus damage, there is a certain number of boats that Norse can get. And obviously, it looks like Kimo knows this because he's going for this. There's a certain number of boats, if you get them as Norse and take a fight, the longboats are able to almost one hit a cabinet, and there's like no good micro you can do to play around that. I'm not sure exactly what the number of boats is, but it's somewhere above 10 though. I think 10 isn't enough because they're not quite going to get in there. So you get in nice and close and you just start one-shotting boats. And you have the advantage because your opponent can't do the same thing because he doesn't have the bonus damage coming onto those boats. He needs more boats than you do. It's a really, really good way of taking the archer ship fights. This Nullus going to be pulling back and forth here as we see where this game is headed to. I'm still surprised to see this much fighting going on the water. These guys are slaves to the meta. Meta slaves, as it is. There are a lot of interesting strategies you could potentially do on a map like this, especially 4 fish. Like, I can imagine if this was more than 4 fish, you'd kind of want to, but unfortunately, the meta is what the meta is. As Nullus pulling in and out. And Kimo ready to take the fight after all is said and done. He's now got himself 15 longbows. The longer this goes on, the worse it gets for Nullus. Nullus is at 13, still producing more. Both players low on the wood, but Nullus now has the gold to get himself a town center. He's kind of chosen to go for this, which means if he just sits underneath his docks and doesn't take any fights here, he might be able to defend and he might be able to get that town center up, but he's got to be careful about it. He's got a micro well at this point. Kimo playing it really, really nicely at the moment, as we do see a Wadjet coming over here, scouting that one out. He's got the resources to drop the towns in terms of gold. Needs a little bit of food. Does not quite have that one just yet, as some villagers going to be coming off of the gold mine to jump onto food to get the villagers out here. Nullus is really hurting on that food economy, whereas Kimo, has he got some villagers on food? He does have some villagers on food, so he's not had any problems producing villagers in this game. Really, really smart play from a macro standpoint here from Kimo to do that nice and early. As the boats here of Kimo, I don't know if he listens to my stream or not, but I love this micro from Kimo. And what is the micro from Kimo as he pulls away there, which I don't like, but what's the micro from Kimo? Focus fire micro only. You don't pull ships back when you're playing Norse. Why? Because you've got less speed than your opponent, so it's not as valuable to pull away. You've got more damage than your opponent, so having that DPS and keeping it as high as possible is the name of the game. As we do see, look at that, the boat dying in one shot. Beautiful play there from Kimo as Nullus. What more can he do here? What more can he do? The big thing here, though, is after 9 minutes into the game, does it really matter losing 4 fishing spots to your opponent. Is that enough? Is that enough of an advantage after all is said and done? Does 4 fishing ships matter? No, it doesn't. Especially when you're playing road, you just spam farms and click rain. Your opponent's not going to want to do that because he's going to be on hunt. You've got a big advantage where that's concerned. But Nullus now grabbing himself the town center. He does kind of push out with those cabinets. Bit of a mistake there. And this will kind of give Kimo the security of the water. There's a couple of options for Kimo. He could take in to, what's it called? He could take into Burning Pitch here to finish off all the rest of those docks. Unlike a lot of people think, Burning Pitch isn't actually it is a slight advantage against boats, but it's not really picked for boats early. It's picked to kill off your enemy buildings, specifically these docks here, nice and quickly. As the settlement coming up here for Nullus. A couple of relics down the bottom. We do have the Mythical Horseshoes and the Arrows of the Alpha there. As a village, you're going to be dropping some walls onto this position. Armory coming up as well there for Nullus. I mean, the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, you got obviously Nullus used shifting sands here, but could you imagine just going for these fishing ships, building like a handful of archer ships to just sit there and defend, and then shifting Sansing onto this gold mine, dropping a barracks, and then just saying, we're fighting lands now, and you're having to classical fight underneath your main base with no gold mine. So many interesting strategies on this map. There's so many, if you just think a little bit outside the box, to go for those sorts of things. As the rain comes in for Nullus, he's got the good amount of farms in, plows in, I imagine pickaxes in as well. No pickaxe just yet for Nullus, missing out on a lot of gold income where that's concerned. As Longhouse coming up over here. Town Center coming up as well to keep up economically speaking. As the longboats, there's so much population on the water here. 16 arch ships, 17 there. Thank you for the prime there, Milkor Forbidden. Appreciate the support, my friend. Thank you so much. And now, as always, after the water fight, what happens in the meta, guys? What happens? Well, you build a town center. There's only one way to play Age of Mythology, and that's the meta. I'm sorry. These guys are better than me at this game. I'm watching. I'm learning. All right. Pickaxe now coming through for Nullus. Will we see Shaftmine? He's obviously wanting to go to the Heroic Age. Heroic Age is going to work out nicely here. Town Center's in range of order. There is this Town Center in range of order. This one, not so much. This isn't supposed to occur on competitive mega random. You're supposed, if one Town Center is in range of order, there's supposed to be another one. But you know, it is what it is. Age of Mythology is not a perfect game, and as good as the code is, which I've looked at it, it is impeccable. Sometimes the logic just does not quite work out, and you just have to deal with it, unfortunately. As the barracks coming up onto this position now for Nullus. As always, against Norse, barracks is a must because you need axemen to deal with Huskarls, potentially, if they're going to come. Also, option to build Spearmen here. Always going to be a good one here as well. One thing that I see from Ra players quite a bit, and I do want to bring this up because I think that it's an important thing to remember. Just because you put the farms down doesn't mean you have to farm them. After the rain is done, you've now lost that 100% or 200% efficiency, whatever it is on the farms. I can't 100% remember what it is. But you lose that efficiency, and now farms return to go from being the best food source in the game by far to being the worst food source in the game. You've got cows here. You've got hunt back here. You've got berries over. You probably don't need to go to the berries. Probably better to go onto the farms with irrigation than berries. But you've also got boars over here. Lots of options for food. You can take your villagers off the farms and just save them for later. You've already invested in it. No problems. But yeah, just a little thought experiment. See if we're going to see some Ra players finding some sort of an advantage in their games later on. As the village is going to be moving forward, I'm going to be grabbing the Migdol stronghold over here. At the very least, you can eat the cows. You don't have to go over the hunt because there's walking distance involved, right? But at the very least, you can jump onto the cows, which are with husbandry, they're exactly the same gather rate as a huntable without hunting dogs. Keep that in the back of your mind. Big advantage where that's concerned. As Barracks coming out onto this position. Relics over here. Mithril Horseshoe, such a good relic. You have to pick that one up. More Axemen pushing through onto this position. We do see the Hill Fort coming up for Kimo as well. Obviously, he wants to do that. He's still got a lot of these longboats sitting on this position as the Patsukas comes through. And we taking out some of these infantry units. Unfortunately, does target down a Hersir here. There is also a Frost Giant ready and waiting, and there's the potential for a Locust to come in. Will Nullus spot this? And how badly does he want to Locust a whole bunch of dwarves here? There's like two things. There's two chances this way. There's two ways this can go. It either picks off all the dwarves or it picks off none of the dwarves. As we do see that, yeah, and there's none of the dwarves. Why when I get Locusted and you get Locusted as well? We remember this. It's not just it's not just me that's unlucky. You're all unlucky as well. And I think you all agree with it. Why when we get Locust do we lose all our villages, but when everyone else gets Locusted, especially my opponent gets Locusted, no villagers die? Somewhat riddle me that. There's a Pharaoh coming through for Nullus. Going to be able to take out that Frost Giant. Nullus trying to put some big pressure on. There is still Frost available here for Kimo. As the Axemen are cleaning up these infantry units really quickly here. Unfortunately, Nullus not focusing on that Pharaoh for a hot minute there as the Frost Giant getting some value. But all these units of Kimo are falling. Kimo does have a ton of resources in the bank as he does decide to drop the Frost there. And a wall going to be coming up here. We'll see if Nullus is going to kind of predict that. Maybe get an obelisk placed down or something to obstruct this sort of a wall. More units coming in, so that's going to be enough here, it seems. Kimo dropping down to 127 population here. He's dropped most of the longboats here as a war barge comes out for Nullus. Both players on 3 town centers. Rhyme coming through for Kimo. Irrigation coming through for Nullus. Villager differential here, slightly in favor of Nullus, so this is big. But Kimo is not only Odin, but he's also a Skadi Odin. And he's already got himself that winter harvest for his farmers. And they're going to be very fast to bring in some food economy. There's some more priests coming through to try and deal with these Frost Giants. As always, the Egyptian heroes kind of tickle the Frost Giants there. As a Frost Giant does fall there. Siege Tower is going to be retreating back. Thunder and Hoofs coming through for Kimo as well. As all the units going to be pulling back in onto this position here. Meanwhile, the Rock's still hanging out over here as one Hersir is just going to wait here, see what happens. Anything in the Rock? No, nothing's in the Rock. But the line of sight here gives a lot of advantages for Nullus. Again, the biggest way in which a Norse player, the way in which Norse has been losing most of the time in these tournaments has been on gold control. On gold control here. Kimo, the thing is though that Kimo probably can get Mythic Age here pretty soon and click Ragnarok and cause a lot of problems for Nullus. As Nullus getting pushed back, he's sitting nearly he's at full population without fortified town centers. But if he can deal with all these units pushing through here, which might be possible, if he can deal with all these units here, this gold mine over here is defendable or preventable. This gold mine over here is preventable. And Kimo is going to be in a bit of he's going to be in for a bit of a tough challenge here moving forward. But these Frost Giants, they are doing so well at the moment here. As one finally does fall, there's another one over here that might get taken down as well. And I mean, the problem here is where's Nullus' economy? He's trying to get to the Mythic Age here. He needs to be spending his resources on units here, pumping in to defend this position and going after gold with every little ounce of his being to find an advantage in this game. But he is just allowing Kimo to steamroll through here, not spending these resources. And as always, when you've got like lower population than your opponent you're fighting, they're going to kill your units off way faster and with much more efficiency and brutality than if you had a full population armies. We are now starting to see some mercenary popping into here from Nullus as he's trying to defend, but it's just not working out there for him as the Jarl raiding cavalry swooping in here, going to be taking down those villages to boot at the top. Migdal Stronghold looks like it might be falling here as the Jarl's getting a lot of good damage done. Frost Giant coming over here. I love this from Kimo. freezing the mercenary cavalry effectively kills the mercenary cavalry. You don't actually have to kill it. You can just freeze it, and then its lifespan is only about 30 seconds, right? It's going to fall there before it dies in HP. That's a great way to kill off the mercenary spam there. Something to keep in the back of your mind. Obviously, Ra does have access to Magi, which is going to boost that lifespan a little bit, but you can always use that. Just freeze the mercenary, focus on something else sort of strategy where that's concerned. As the throwing axeman over here going to be getting taken out. Lots of siege towers in this siege works here. The Nullus not being utilized. We do see a wooden wall getting broken out here as he's trying to come and attack this this gold mine. We'll see if that's going to be happening at any point here as the siege towers popping out. We do have the priest coming through here. Frost Giant getting taken down as well as Migdol's stronghold still alive for the time being, as Nullus still barely holding on here. Kimo's struggling for food at the moment, and here's that gold mine. This is what we're talking about. If somehow Nullus could have held here, as he's now back up to full population, pushing Kimo back at the moment, actually. Kimo still at full population himself, but he has been pushed back to some degree. If Nullus had gotten in here with a Migdol or something, prevented these villagers, walled this off, this game would be in a very, very different place right now. But Kimo, with that push, made it work thus far. He's got his gold mine. He's now surviving where that's concerned. He's got to start thinking about a trade route. He's already at 100 villages here. 105 villages, 5 ox caravans. We do see that the war barges trying to focus down this town center while this is all going on. No mythic age available for Nullus, so it takes a long time for them to get anything really done against that town center. So not a big rush. Plus the town center also can take out these war barges eventually here, I guess. But Nullus trying to make that work as well as the army starting to push through. Pharaoh getting some good damage done onto the Frost Giant here as more mercenary cavalry riding in to take out these throwing axemen over here on this position. The camel caravan started for Nullus. It's just kind of, I don't think he needed this. This has taken up his population. Yes, he thinks he needs more economy, but in actual, I mean, in a way, it's going to help him prepare for a Ragnarok if, for some reason, Kimo doesn't scout down there. But I think he needs to be spending all of his resources on army and on upgrades, and not on the slow to pay themselves off camel caravans. It takes a while for them to pay themselves off. But Balder now clicked up for Kimo, 110 population. This is going to be a brutal Ragnarok. What is that? That is, I can't do. That's 330 population of Rag heroes. Jesus. Is that 400 population Ragnarok coming? That's so much. That's so much. I'm terrified for Nullus. Still doesn't have fortified town centers. What else? He doesn't have any building upgrades. He doesn't have a heavy axeman. Does he have any upgrades? He's got no armory upgrades. The economy here for Nullus is hurting so much right now. As Nullus pushes forward, going to get some good damage done here with his Pharaoh and his priests. Architects now coming in for Kimo as well. As the siege tower going to push over here to try and take out the fortified towns, and he's got so many villages. My God, 116. He's just getting more and more. It's only getting stronger. Nullus has got to know it's coming for him. He's got to know it's coming for him. Kimo could drop a wonder here, almost. 293 population Ragnarok has been clicked immediately here for Kimo, as he's starting to just rush through everything. Fortified town centers is in. Nullus has got 0 economy right now. He's spamming axemen out onto this position. The gold mine getting pushed off immediately over here. Fire giant over here to boot. Nullus going to be retreating away. We've seen Norse players throw positions like this before, but say. I got nothing, guys. I'm going to whisper and just see if Nullus can hold on. Iron shields. What the upgrades for Kimo was iron shields, bronze weapons, copper mail. Having copper mail is good here for Nullus. Nullus doesn't even want to see it. He doesn't even want to see. He sees the 3,000 score difference. He knows. He knows. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. How do you kill this much rag? You don't. There's one chance here for Nullus to take this game, and one chance only. And that was full spam onto this gold, maybe even raiding this gold while this is all going on with rock raids. Wouldn't have gone astray, dropping spearmen over here, dropping something over here, and just causing problems. But Nullus could not make it work, and Kimo sweeps Nullus here to move on to the next round of the loser's bracket. I mean, credit where credit's due. Kimo played this very, very nicely. Very, very nicely indeed. Nullus did not scout out the fish fast enough. As always, on these competitive mega random maps, on these water maps specifically, the first fishing ship, you've just got to take the L with it. Go for a scout and see what you're dealt with. If you see nothing, great. You know what you're dealt with. If you see lots of stuff, great. Grab the fishing spot and start fishing. Normally, get all the fishing. But if you don't know what you've got, then how are you supposed to adapt the build so that you can take full advantage of it? You're not supposed to adapt. You can't adapt. And I think that while Nullus did a good job over gathering 100 and nearly 20 wood there in the early game, overbuilding 2 fishing ships that he couldn't utilize because he didn't know where to send them, meant that, well, in the end there, Kimo just found the big advantage early game. And while Nullus did win the water to some degree, Kimo won it first, and Nullus probably didn't need to come back onto the water. I'll reiterate, there's 4 fishing spots. 4 fishing spots for me. That's probably worth about 2 to 3 arrow ships or something while I'm doing something else. Get a town center. In fact, I would build a town center first and then start thinking about defending. Like, if I wanted to go the town center route. Or I just rush. I mean, surely that's got to be the better option here. Surely. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this game, please consider the follow on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.